Endless Waterfall by Pilgrim. The seed of this story originated in the author's youthful imagination. Now, the vision has become a reality. Explore the world of Pilgrim and dive into a literary journey that promises to enlighten, empower, and enthrall. Chapter 5. Gwen's Party. By Saturday, Joe's hands were a whole new texture, blistered in places and toughened in others. His shoulders ached in ways that felt ancient, his back protested every time he bent down, and he had long since stopped caring about the smell permanently stuck to his overalls. He also couldn't stop smiling. The week had been a blur of early mornings, loud cows, stubborn sheep, unpredictable weather, and lessons learned the hard way. Every day began before sunrise, with the same soundtrack: Buzz barking at a half-hearted rooster, Lana banging around the milking shed like she'd already had 3 coffees, and Robert's deadpan one-liners delivered between sips of scalding tea. Joe, the city boy, was deep in the trenches now. He was getting the hang of things. He'd stopped jumping every time a cow moved abruptly, could now identify the farm paddocks and gate numbers, and had even remembered to turn off the electric fence before grabbing the wire. He and Lana worked side by side more often now, fixing fences, clearing brush, helping Robert sort feed. She enjoyed having him around. "You're not useless anymore," she teased him on Saturday afternoon, handing him a spade. Joe grinned. "High praise from a country girl. You'll still probably break something," she said. "I'll aim for something cheap," she laughed, and Joe felt it again, that strange lightness around her. He didn't know what it meant, but he knew it was good. Time to party. By late afternoon, the growing town of Levin felt unusually alive. Warm air hung over the streets like a sigh from summer. The sounds of lawnmowers, laughter, and backyard stereos drifted lazily on the breeze. For Joe, still weary from a week of herding, milking, and general farm work, it felt like stepping into another version of the world entirely. Lana's green ute pulled up outside a weatherboard house on a quiet cul-de-sac, the kind with trimmed hedges and garden gnomes. Light and music spilled from the open sliding doors at the back, and the sound of people talking, laughing, and clinking bottles carried into the street. Joe stepped out, brushing his blue jeans off. He wore the cleanest t-shirt he owned, a plain black one that showed the shape of his chest and arms just enough to turn heads. His boots were scuffed but clean, and he'd actually made an effort to tame his shaggy hair. Lana looked effortless in a loose white tank top and cut-off denim shorts, her hair out for once. Long, auburn, slightly wavy and sun-streaked from days on the farm. She wore a single silver chain around her neck, and her skin was glowing from the latest skin cream on offer. "You sure we're not crashing a hometown reunion?" Joe asked as they walked up the drive. Lana smirked. "Gwen wouldn't throw a party without inviting half the district." "You're probably the only mystery here." "Great," Joe said. "She lives for mystery," Lana muttered. The back gate creaked open, and they stepped into the yard. Fairy lights were strung up between the trees. Someone had set up an old speaker system on a plastic table, blaring an 80s mix over the hum of conversation. There were maybe 30 people. Some on the grass with drinks, others on the deck or milling around inside. Gwendolyn saw them almost instantly. She cut across the yard like she was on a runway. Barefoot, drink in hand, denim skirt riding high, and a low-cut red halter top that left little to the imagination. Her hair was pinned up in a loose bun, blonde curls spilling out in calculated chaos. Her smile lit up as she reached them. "Lana!" She beamed, throwing her arms around her. "You came. And you brought the mystery man." Lana laughed as Gwen turned and gave Joe an exaggerated once-over. "Well, hello, Joe," she said, drawing out the words like they were dipped in sugar. "You clean up well," Joe smiled, a little amused. "Thanks." Gwen leaned in just enough for him to catch the perfume, sweet and sharp, like cherries in trouble. "So tell me, how's farm life treating the city boy?" "He survived a week," Lana said, "mostly intact. Barely, Joe added. Gwen laughed, tossing her hair over one shoulder. Well, if you need rescuing, you know where I live now. Lana rolled her eyes and sipped her beer. He's fine, Gwen. I'm sure he is, Gwen said with a wink, then drifted off to greet more guests, hips swaying with the same confidence she carried since high school. Joe turned to Lana. She's a lot. She's always been a lot, Lana said, cracking a grin. But she throws a decent party. After a decent amount of time mingling with some of the other guests and partaking of the food on offer, they made their way to a quieter corner of the yard where the music was less intrusive and a few people were lounging on fold-out chairs. Joe sat on the edge of an old bench. Lana took the armrest, nursing her drink, legs casually crossed. How you feeling? She asked, looking down at him. Like I've done 10 years of manual labor, Joe said. But also kind of at ease. Lana watched him closely, her voice softer now. That's the thing about this place. It doesn't move fast, but it gets under your skin. He glanced around at the warm lights, the chatter, and the smell of charcoal from the backyard barbecue. Yeah, I get that, he agreed. From across the yard, Gwen kept stealing glances. Eyes lingering on Joe's shoulders, his jawline, the way he leaned forward when Lana spoke. It didn't go unnoticed. You and Gwen went to college together. Is that what you said before? Joe asked Lana. Lana smirked. Yes, she is one of my best friends. We have been through a lot together. Only, she does not know how to turn the flirt button off. Joe nodded with a smile. She is persistent, he said. Lana added. She's also harmless. But I get it if it's uncomfortable. Joe shook his head. No, it's not uncomfortable. It's just, he looked at her for a second longer than he meant to. I'm not here for that. Lana's smile shifted, smaller now, more honest. Good. They clinked bottles, and for a moment, the party noise faded into the background. Joe wasn't thinking about where he came from or what he'd left behind. He wasn't planning his next move or calculating how long he'd stay. He was just there, sitting next to her. And that, somehow, felt enough. Back to work. Joe was relieved to have Sunday off-farm work. He needed it after Gwen's party. He and Lana had spent the afternoon in their special place, lounging and talking next to the waterfall. On Monday, he was back in the milking shed, arms elbow-deep in a tangle of suction tubes, where Nancy, the same ornery cow from his first day, decided to make things personal. Joe leaned in, focused on lining the cup just right. Easy, girl. Nancy looked him dead in the eye and let loose a stream of hot urine, some of it splashing right down his right gumboot. Oh, come on. Again? He groaned. Lana cackled from across the pit. She likes you. She's got a funny way of showing it. Then Nancy shifted her weight and clipped him with a light back kick, enough to startle him. Robert, hosing down the floor nearby, didn't even look up. Told you, toddlers with hooves. Joe regained his composure. Why do they look so peaceful in the paddock and turn into demons in here? Because cows are like people, Lana said, grinning. They behave until you need them to. Joe adjusted the suction, shaking his head at Nancy. Easy, girl. Behave for me. Yeah, Lana said. Like she is going to listen. The sheep incident. Later that day, they were rounding up a mob of sheep in the North Paddock. Well, trying to. Joe had the job of pointing the sheep toward the gate while Lana and Buzz worked around, but 25 ewes broke ranks like it was a prison escape. Joe ran after them without thinking, arms flailing. Hey, no! Get back here. The sheep sprinted past him like he wasn't there, one clipping him at the knee and sending him sideways into a patch of thistles. Buzz barked furiously, circling to cut them off while Lana doubled over, laughing so hard she nearly fell off the quad bike. By the time the ewes were wrangled back in, Joe had a thorn in his ear, burrs in his shirt, and a new appreciation for how fast sheep could move when they really didn't want to be caught. Is this a regular part of the job? He asked, panting. No, Lana said, still grinning. This is the fun part. End of the week. Friday morning arrived like the four before it. Misty, cool, full of animal noise and the clatter of gumboots on concrete. Joe woke up in the cottage without an alarm. His body knew now when to wake up. He dressed in Robert's old jumper, pulled on his boots, and walked the gravel track to the main house to pick up a thermos of tea Angie had made for him minutes before. She'd left a note with it, to keep you from collapsing during milking. Proud of you. Angie. Robert met him in the yard with a nod. Cows won't milk themselves, he said. Joe grinned and joked. They tried yesterday. Didn't go well. Buzz trotted past him, nose to the ground, already working. They moved through the morning in sync now. Joe wasn't fast, but he was competent. He remembered procedures, read the herd's mood, and even called out cow names when Lana forgot. When Nancy looked ready to strike again, he stepped just out of range and said, "Not today, lady." Lana noticed and nodded. "You're getting there." Joe leaned on the rail, looking out at the sky lighting over the hills. "I think I kind of like this." Robert looked up from the feed bin. "That'll change next time it rains sideways." Joe didn't argue, but he knew the truth. Even soaked to the skin, covered in muck, or tangled in suction hoses. This beat everything he'd left behind. He had no deadlines, no risky encounters. Just work, land, breath, and the amazing time spent with Lana at the waterfall. Stay updated on J. Pilgrim's latest releases and more by following him on this YouTube channel. Join a community of readers who are inspired, entertained, and transformed by the works of J. Pilgrim. Like, comment, and share this series with fiction lovers. Discover the magic, embrace the wisdom, live the adventure. See you in the next episode.